What's up, legends, and welcome back to another Unmatched Ladder Salmon video where I analyze ladder seasons from the great website UMLeague, which features a monthly rotating roster of heroes and maps and different unique matchups to explore. And it's been around for like a year, so hopefully you know what it is by now. And if you're interested in participating at all or have more questions, I'll have some links down in the description where you can get more information and actually go to the website and sign up. And you can sign up at any time during a season. You don't have to hop in at the beginning of the month. There are some people like me who hang around in bronze and silver all month long. Oh boy, Sattler. All right, so anyways, SALMON is an acronym I made up that stands for Seasonal Analysis of Ladder Meta and Other Novelties. And in these types of videos, I analyze the upcoming rosters and give you my predictions. And then, of course, I take a look at last month's season and see how it actually compares to my prediction. Sometimes these are on Mondays. This is not. The reason why this video is coming out so late, I'm currently recording this on the night of Thursday the 16th, is because I originally recorded this a year ago. Not a year ago. I recorded this a week ago with the end of Winter of Champions, that big tournament, and just some stuff going on at the beginning of the month. I was a little bit busy, and then recorded it a little bit late, and then a couple games of Blood on the Clock Tower, Marvel Champions, and Arkham Horror, the card game later. And I was like, I don't want to edit this. And it was one of those things where if a video sits in my... if a recorded video just sits on my computer for too long, I end up having a bunch of second guesses about it and just end up going, whatever, I won't edit this. I'll just re-record it so I know it's good. So that's where we are now. So a little bit of an introductory ramble, but hey, what's new? So looking back on my season 12 predictions, you can see that it wasn't actually as incorrect as I normally am. The top seeds, as in Medusa, Yananga, Bigfoot, were pretty much spot on guesses, but then I kind of had this weird reversal where the questionable tiers and the dumpster Buffy tier kind of switched in the actual results. Daredevil and Moon Knight were a lot better than I thought they were going to be, which was very surprising, and Dracula and Houdini were a lot worse than I thought they were going to be. And looking back, I think this kind of makes sense, at least for Houdini. I think I put too much weight on the fact that him going first can just win any game, when in reality, he has some pretty hard matchups like Medusa, Bigfoot, Moon Knight, Achilles, Dracula. Those are all generally tough matchups that I guess going first doesn't really help just overcome the uphill battle that Houdini has there. And Dracula just kind of got wrecked, which is very, very sad. I put a need more data category on certain fighters just because, as we'll see when we get to the play counts, T-Rex, Luke, and Achilles kind of didn't really get played that much, and so I didn't really feel comfortable fully judging them based on just the small sample size. So let's actually just take a look at why that is. As we can see, T-Rex got 30 plays, Luke got 37, Drac got 24, but was still absolutely horrible, and Achilles only got 36. So there just weren't a lot of plays for those fighters in particular, where compared to Medusa, Yananga, Bigfoot, Daredevil, those fighters got basically double or triple the plays that some of the other characters had. Looking at the weighted win rates, we can see which heroes kind of benefited from weighing them. I forget what season I introduced weighted win rates in, but it's somewhere. So just you can kind of explore through my previous Salmon videos if you want to find a better explanation for that. But we can see T-Rex really benefits from her win rate getting weighted. Medusa, Luke Cage also, and Achilles kind of suffers, and everyone else in between plus or minus 4% is all right, I guess. But we can see that Medusa was the true queen of this season. Basically the best win rate regardless, up there in plays. She and Yananga, I think, were kind of the two fighters to beat this season. They were the most popular and the most dominant in a way. And you can see T-Rex actually had a decent win rate. She had just 50 unweighted, but jumped all the way to 59 weighted. Just the problem is that sample size, of course. 30 is like right on the cusp of like the numbers you want, because it's kind of the difference between a large and small sample size. But compared to Medusa and Yananga, who got over 100 plays, that 50% number kind of seems a little unreliable. Yeah, she was the ninth most played fighter this season. So I kind of understand why that is, just because with only getting mapped 50% of the time, T-Rex can get put into some horrible scenarios, especially if like Soho or King Solomon's Mine is in play, which I don't remember what maps were in play this season, but that might have been the case. Dracula, yep, just 10s across the board, horrible. Houdini, popular in terms of plays, but again, win rate just not doing anything good for him. Probably popular because he's new and people are still trying him out, but this season was not really set up for success for him. And I kind of feel like everything else is like pretty self-explanatory. Bigfoot, Daredevil, Moon Knight kind of being like the next steps behind Medusa and Yananga, which the reason why Daredevil was so good this season, that Daredevil Dracula matchup is actually a lot closer than I think it is. I guess it's not super amazing for either side. It's pretty even. And Daredevil actually had a 70% win rate against Houdini this season in about 10 plays, but still, like, you don't really expect that to happen. But I guess if Daredevil's playing at a low-ish hand count, he can kind of mitigate some of the damage Houdini will do over the top by using Daredevil's ability, except that is really risky in case Houdini has set the stage and a bunch of action gain. But I guess the healing can kind of outlast all of Houdini's weapons. And Daredevil actually had like decent win rates against Moon Knight, Yananga, and T-Rex, which I think sometimes can go in other ways, but especially against Yananga, I think without full advantage for her, that matchup gets a lot better for Daredevil. In the T-Rex one, that's pretty close, as we saw from the Winter of Champions finals, but again, without split advantage, Rex gets a lot scarier. So Daredevil actually a lot better in this format than I think I give him credit for. So let's start off with the Season 13 fighters. The People's Champion this month was actually two heroes, Buffy and Little Red. And so the season was kind of built around those two characters, although with Buffy, it's a little bit of a I don't want to say lost cause, but it's an uphill battle for sure. So we have Achilles, Alice, Bruce Lee, Buffy, Bullseye, Genie, Little Red, Robin Hood, Dr. Sattler, and the T-Rex. So interesting lineup, kind of not super great options on either side. Generally, these heroes are like decently mid-tier, so it's really interesting to see like how this season actually plays out, because when all the fighters are a little bit closer together, the matchups are usually closer and things are a little bit more interesting. So this looks like a really fun season. This is actually probably the first season this year that I've like seriously participated in, just because of time reasons, but also like it's got Bullseye and T-Rex and Bruce and Achilles and Sattler. I love all those characters. So yeah, definitely after I record this video, I'm probably going to throw out an LFG and see who wants to play. So let's take a look at the maps for this season. We have Hero Rot, The Raft, Raptor Paddock, Sunnydale High, and Baskerville Manor. I think Achilles is going to do really well on Raptor Paddock, as will T-Rex. Robin Hood's going to do decently well on Baskerville. I also think that's not a horrible map for Genie either, because I think from the tri-zone space, you can basically get to every zone in a 3-move maneuver. Same with Sunnydale High, I think, from like that center stage spot with the green and the blue. The Raft also decently interesting, just because it's the only like item map. Looking at this in terms of like Sattler, I guess you can hide Malcolm in the Baskerville Library, and like Hero Rot, Raptor Paddock, Sunnydale, all decently small, but I don't even know if Sattler has like good maps No one this season really has to engage her except for like Achilles, but Achilles will just kill her. T-Rex isn't on Raptor Paddock. He's probably getting sent to like Huron or Baskerville, which isn't the worst in the world. It's no Soho or King Solomon's, but still not amazing. So in terms of like how good I think each hero is going to be this season, I think Achilles will be the best just because with that +2 damage when Pat dies, not a lot of heroes this season can hold up to that. I think Robin Hood probably has one of the best chances just because of all the body blocker outlaws. He has card draw to match Achilles and can actually pull off a decent exhaustion game against the Angry Man. T-Rex, we know how T-Rex Achilles can go. And I think Alice Achilles can also be decently close depending on how the turn or two after Pat dies goes for Alice and if she can land some big hits in after the random discard. I think Alice will also be decent just because I think she kind of has like the similar matchup spread as Achilles where like they're decently good into like Sattler, Bruce, Bullseye, Buffy, Genie, things like that. And I actually think Sattler will be all right this season just because she's decent into T-Rex. Some say she can beat T-Rex with the monitor turned off, but also against fighters like Bruce and Bullseye, who don't really have a lot of health to deal with her auto damage and kind of like have to engage her. She can be fine. And also Little Red, who doesn't have consistent cancels, or at least consistent cancels she wants to use defensively, because then it makes killing Huntsman a lot easier for her. So I don't actually think she's going to be horrible this season. T-Rex, that 50% of getting map, the split advantage kind of really sucks for her. Little Red, she's also like a not super great in split advantage. She isn't as good in ladder as she has been in previous tournaments. And also like the meta right now is not super favorable for her, but I think she's got decent matchups into like Bruce and Bullseye. And she can pull off she can always pull off games that she otherwise wouldn't. Like I watched, I think, Unmatched beat Lucio in the Red Achilles matchup, which is just a horrible matchup for her, but she can win. She has tools. Similar with Bruce, kind of gets just out damaged by certain fighters, but Jeet Kundo gonna Jeet Kundo. Robin Hood also typically stinks in ladder, but I just think he's gonna be better than some other heroes will be this season, because Bullseye and Buffy oh boy, yeah, ladder is not kind to my little gremlin. I think he's fine on every map except maybe Baskerville. That's probably my least favorite this season, but I guess going first on Baskerville isn't the worst because you can just do degenerate things right off the bat. And I think Genie, I have a personal vendetta against Genie because he's like very tricky to play. I've only played maybe like 3 or 4 games with him, and I still don't have a good grasp on like all the technical stuff with him. So if I'm bad at him, he must just be a flawed character. Like it's not that I'm bad at him. It's he's bad, right? Because that's the only scenario. So he's obviously going to be the worst hero this season. Let's take a quick hydration break. Everyone hydrate, homies. All right, thank you very much. Drinking water is important. Water, walking around outside, journaling your thoughts, and calling a friend. Those are the 4 things. 8 hours of sleep. Those are the 5 things you should do every day. Baked Goods says take care of yourself. So this video is being made about halfway through the season, so I thought it would be interesting to compare to what the stats are actually showing at this point in the season. And I am very happy to say I am like actually close to being correct. Normally I am just horribly off, but this season is actually like my predictions are pretty solid. We have Achilles, Sattler, and Alice as the top 3, then T-Rex, Bruce, Robin Hood, Little Red as the next 4, and then Bullseye, Genie, Buffy as the bottom 3. So I was like 2 or 3 heroes away from being spot on, which I think is absolutely amazing for me. Everyone should give me a pat on the back in the comments, because this is like This is like once in a generation I'm like this close. So I know as soon as I say this, I'm like bragging about how finally intelligent I seem. People are just going to start grinding Buffy games and tanking with Achilles, and suddenly everything's going to be upside down. And then at the beginning of April, people are going to be like, see, Baked, you soggy old cow. You're no good at this at all. So yeah, I must revel in my small victories while I can get them. So yeah, that is my ladder season 13 salmon. Sorry that it's a little late, but hey, I'm giving you a little bit of a shorter video today, so hopefully it's more digestible and you can use that extra 20 minutes you save from this not being 45 minutes to play me online. So yeah, I'll see everyone in the UMLeague Discord, and hopefully you enjoy the rest of the season because it is going to be fun. I will see everyone for the season 14 salmon in April for a very serious, very hardcore, and very competitive season. All right. So thank you so much for watching. That's all I have for you today. And as always, like, subscribe, and yay!